Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be doing get to know your reading taste tag. Your reading taste tag, something like that. If you are watching this, then tag. Consider yourself tagged. And if you are not a content creator and you are watching this, you can answer all the questions down below if you would like to. So, there are 15 questions. Let's just jump right in. I'm hoping not to have to edit this video, so let's get started. Number 1, how do you rate books? Well, I do the 5-star rating system. There's 1 star is usually a DNF where I hated the book. 2-star was I dislike the book. 3-star was I like it, but it's kind of forgettable. 4-star, well, 3-star is kind of more neutral. Like, it was fine. I could go either way, but I'm gonna forget all the details once I shut this book and put it on my shelf or give it back to the store. 4 stars is I like the book, and 5 stars is like, love it, it's perfect. Although there aren't really any perfect books, but they're perfect to me and they evoked a lot of emotions. Alright, sorry about that. We're on question number 2. How do you approach reviewing books? Okay, I want to get better at reviewing books actually. So next year, if I do the bookish bingo from hell for 2026, I am going to include something about reviewing books. I don't know how many books I want to review. Originally I was thinking half the books that I read, but then teacher brain kicked in and I was like, that's still an F. So I don't know at this point, but I do want to review more. When I do review books though, I'm very emotional and I talk about the vibes and the emotions that the book evoked because I'm a very emotional person. And yeah, I have 2 distinct styles. I either do pro and con, and then I like evaluate both in a paragraph and kind of compare and tell you where I land, or I just write a cohesive paragraph that talks about the characters, the plot, the atmosphere, and any emotions that I felt and the vibes overall. And yeah, it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Okay, what's a book that made you a reader? So here's the thing, when I was a kid, I struggled to read. I did not have the capacity to read words, and I full-heartedly think that Mark Brown, the author of the Arthur series, it's actually like a picture book series, and I know it's a TV show, but I originally got into the picture book series. I read all of them when I was a kid because the pictures helped me understand what was going on, and I really could see the different characters, especially DW. She was my favorite. But my first chapter book, I did not learn to read chapter books until 5th grade, and my first chapter book was Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. This has a very special place in my beating heart. Not like beating, but like beaten up. So this follows Billy, and it's during the Great Depression, and his family is like, no, we can't get dogs, but he really wants dogs. So he works for 2 years 2 summers, and he saves up all of his money, and then he goes to the next town over and he buys Little Anne and Big Dan. Old Dan. Old Dan? Big Dan. Ooh, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read this. Old Dan and Little Anne. Okay, that's what I thought. Old Dan. And he brings them home, and it's just like their friendship between Little Anne and Old Dan and Billy, and this is full-heartedly just has my entire heart. I've read it 20 to 30 times in my lifetime, and just it will continue to be the book I reach for when I'm slumping. Alright, the next question is, do you have a genre niche? Yes and no. So I tend to go for rom-coms, like romantic comedies, kind of lighthearted, funny. But there's also the romances that do deal with a lot of hard things, like death of a parent, or your best friend died, so you inherit these kids. You become a like instant family with these children and the person that you hated, and it's like a slow burn love story. And I love both of those, like romances, so just romance, I guess, and thriller. I have started to dabble in horror novels, but those are very hit or miss for me, along with dark romance, but that's very hit or miss for me as well. My comfort zone is definitely romances, but like lighter romances, even if they deal with hardships, and thrillers. And I do dabble in other areas. Those are my 2 most read genres and the things that I like the most. I also dabble in classics. Here's the thing. I don't pick up classics often, but when I do, I end up just loving them. But it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I want to pick up a classic. I should more often, but I just don't all the time. Number 5, do you generally prefer character-driven or plot-driven stories? Plot-driven, for sure. What's a book you love so much that you don't care if others don't like it? That is a hard question for me, because I full-heartedly want all of my friends and you and family and everyone to read all the books on my shelf, because these are the books that I've read that I loved. And we're allowed to have differences of opinions. You don't have to like all the books that I like, but these books represent a little piece of my heart. So I just, my heart is right here. Well, part of my heart. My heart's very big, and I also have a big chunk of my heart with my kids and my students and my books and my husband and my parents and my brothers, and I got lots of different pieces of me, but this is a big collection of my heart. So if you want to read any of these books or tell me your thoughts on any of them, go ahead in the comments below. Then, what's a book you love so much that if someone doesn't like it, your reading tastes don't align? Here's the thing. I think that I've tried to explain this, but my reading is so wide. Like, yes, I specialize in thriller and I specialize in romance because those are just the genres that I really enjoy the most. But there are so many different avenues of books, and like I can't just say one book because I'm doing a disservice to all the other books. But a couple of the books that I think if you don't like, then we might not align too much. It's probably going to be We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III. Love that horror novel. It's a horror novel, but it's so perfect. Along with Fantastic Land by Mike Bachhoven. And then, here's the thing about romance. I have a lot of romance, but anything with like fake dating or brother's best friend, or like To Kill a Mockingbird, or Slow Burn. Like, I love Slow Burn, like The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. Then like serial killer romance, or serial killer thrillers, like This Girl's a Killer. This was so good. And any revenge killers, revenge thrillers. I also really like Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. True Story is the only Alice Feeney that I've liked, but it's like a coma, unreliable narrator, and I just ate this up. Also, like Christina Lauren, like Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, or The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. So I read such a wide variety of different books that it's hard to pinpoint just one book that if you don't like it, our tastes are not going to align, because there's so many different things that I like in books. There's also Anne Reid, We Spread. This one's so good. This one's about death and about getting old and dying, and ooh, it's terrifying. And then there's Northanger Abbey, and maybe Here and Now. Here and Gone by Helen Beck. It's kidnapping and like, can you trust the police? And then there's Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This one's more literary, but I do like a good literary book every so often. And then They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. This is a serial killer. She's a professor, but she's also a serial killer. And it's revenge, so anything with that kind of thing is really where my taste goes. What is in your trash pocket? What books, tropes, or themes that you know are bad but you love them anyway? Age gap. Age gap romances. I really like forbidden romance, like Drunk on Love by Jasmine Guillory. This is boss-employee romance. I love like forbidden romance, but I don't like billionaire romance. And I love something with a good friendship group, although that's not really trash pocket. I don't know why, but for some reason I love brother's best friend romance. That's one of my favorite weird, oddly enough, tropes. There's also like the love bet, like with the Dating Dare, they make a bet that they can date, and one of them's like, you're not gonna fall in love, and the other one's like, yeah, we're gonna fall in love. And I love a good foodish romance, although that's not really trash, I don't think. And then I don't know. I think I just kind of went on a tangent of things that I like, not necessarily tropes. But Forbidden Love is one of my favorites, and Brother's Best Friend. Those could be trash, but I'm not exactly sure what trash means, so in this context. So yeah. Do you have any deal breakers in books? Something, if present, immediately turns you off from the book. I don't like arranged marriage in books. I will finish the book, but then I usually don't end up liking it. I also can't handle cannibalism in books. That's just not for me. I don't like mafia books. At least the ones that I've read, I don't. And I think that those are the ones that come to mind immediately. What's a strong opinion you have about a book released within the last year? Oh, I don't like this one. You guys, please don't cancel me. Please don't hate me. I've DNF'd this 4 times. I don't like this book. I love Ali Hazelwood. I am of the unpopular opinion that she should stay in the STEM world because I love all of her STEM books. But I'm having so much trouble with this book that part of me thinks I'm probably just gonna unhaul it without finishing it because I don't enjoy it, and I'm trying really hard not to make myself read books just because everyone else likes it or just for content, but I'm not liking it. And I'm so sorry, Ali. I love you still, but that is not it. What do you look for in writing? I don't know. Something with a strong voice where I can really get what the writer is meaning, and I don't like overly flowery books or flowery writing. I know a lot of people do, but it's not for me. How do you decide what to read next? Okay, I do this TBR jar for the year of 2025, and I pick my TBR based on my TBR jar, and then I don't read any of the books that I picked, and I just pick whatever I want. So this month, for the month of June, I am participating in Camp Nightmare, and I actually have a TBR right here. I am trying so hard to stick to that TBR. So far, I've only gone rogue for 2 prompts. Okay, 3 prompts. I'm going rogue for the 3rd one too. But I have read 7 books, and 3 of them were not on my TBR, 4 of them were. So I'm trying to be better and more intentional about making the TBRs and sticking to the TBRs. Am I there yet? No. But hopefully soon I will be. How do you decide, okay, where do you get inspiration for booktube content? I'm very much a booktube connoisseur. I call it market research. And I do my market research, and then I make my own videos, either like the same kind of video, but I like twist it to make it more my style, or I just watch and then kind of get my own ideas from other people. If that makes sense. Like, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, but I don't read fantasy, so maybe I could do that with a thriller or something like that. If you could make any book go viral right now, what would it be? I don't know. I don't really know. Sorry. I'm not very good at this. But it's like an underrated book. I guess House of Glass by Sarah Pekkanen. I just finished that, and that is by far my favorite Sarah Pekkanen book. There's also This Girl's a Killer. By Emma C. Wells. But this one was getting a lot of love when it first came out. There's, I don't know, I guess those are the first two that come to my mind. And the last question is, what are some booktubers with reading tastes similar to yours? Here's the thing, I don't necessarily watch booktubers who have similar reading tastes to me. I just watch booktubers that have really cool personalities or bring very good insight into their books, or that I've just connected with. Like a lot of the people that I'm about to mention, I've connected to in real life, and I feel like we've built kind of this really cool friendship in a lot of ways. So with that being said, I will link all of their channels down below, and hopefully they understand that I'm tagging them, and I would love to see their versions of this book tag. So there's Amanda from Amanda's Booktopia. There's Lindsay from She Is Booked and Busy. Dana from Dana Ella. There's Karina from She Dreams in Words. Kalani from Kalani Simply Me. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting people. I am so forgetting people. So for some reason my brain is not working, and those are the ones that came to me like at the top of my head. But when I think of more, I will tag them down below in the description box. So even if I didn't say a creator's name, if they are tagged, then I am tagging their name down below. Please do this tag video, and everyone else, please go check them out, because they are amazing content creators and I get a lot of inspiration from them. And I think that is the end of this tag. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. I will catch you in the next video. Bye.